Oh, hey.
Oh,
How's it
hey,
going?
what are you doing, man?
Crazy. Oh,
What's
we got
going
to stall for time.
We got to stop for time. Oh, we do.
Yeah.
That'll be fixed. But how has been your week? We have had multiple meetings this week, which is crazy. Like,
This is the most I've seen or interacted with you in quite some time.
right. Not counting the 12-hour live stream for
Yeah. Yeah.
Gods.
The first D&D, first Kickstarter, and then the D&D episode.
Right.
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that.
Aside for that. Oh, and the time that we had the Black Caravan people on,
Yes,
that was a long one as well.
That also took a long time. But no, we have some fun things cooking, and I can't wait to get to share them with people and stuff. But
dude, did you know? Because I was looking at our past shows that we talked to Brian Hawkins for 4 hours.
yeah, I know, because we also talked about Scream.
Right.
And if you get 3 people as into Scream as we are,
Right.
talking about Scream, especially when a new one just came out, we're going to talk for a long time.
That is true. But what we should talk to tonight?
Well, you know what we should do first?
We should level up.
We should level up first.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And there was Brian Hawkins right there.
There he was in all his goodness. So tonight, we're super excited.
We are.
We've had this is our 14th show, which is pretty exciting.
I figured we've done at least 2 or 3 of these. So.
Right, at least 2 or 3. And we have a guy who was on our wish list. So when we first made a list of creators that we wanted to talk to, we messaged them all and saw who responded, and a couple of them responded, and this was one of them. We're pretty excited about it. So
yeah.
Do you think we should bring him on, or do you want? Let's do that cool intro.
Yeah, let's do an intro and then bring him on.
Yeah, let's
break the mold.
Let's break the mold.
That.
I think your intros are pretty cool.
All right. Well, let's do it. Hey, it's Phil Hester. Maybe.
Hey, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hello.
All right. So Phil's having internet problems tonight, guys, just so you're prepared. Because, that's the way it
works. Yeah. I'm looking at my little connection bar like the whole time in deathly fear.
just
stay green. They're upgrading. Yeah, they're upgrading my neighborhood. So like every once in a while, for no reason, it'll just go out. So we'll see.
The upgrade's nice though. It's almost as good as a level up.
Yeah, we're up. I'm in the sticks, so we're upgrading to where everybody was about 12 years ago.
Yeah, you getting that DSL?
Yeah. I don't have to hear the little beep anymore.
You finally, I'm just picturing you finally throwing out your fax machine. Like, I don't need you anymore.
Away.
The Walmart still has the AOL CDs for people.
Oh, sure. I'm not lying. We had a family video just close.
Oh, wow.
Like a month ago.
Man. So Hollywood Video's just taken over. It's the only one in town.
No, it was all family video here.
That was the peak, and the plateau was just family video.
Never had Blockbuster.
I love it. Well, how's it going, Phil?
Very well. How about you guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
So
good time.
We're going to go over your whole origin stuff, but I want to talk to you about the first time that did you ever meet Phil at any con, Todd?
No, I don't go to. Those people are there.
Right,
I don't go to those.
Those are things you don't like. I forgot. I apologize.
Yeah,
and he's in Michigan.
They're too much.
Yeah.
So you did this for me way back in the day.
Wow.
Oh, that's sort of my standard doodle.
Yeah. So what happened was this was the year that you were at MegaCon, and it was the year that CrossGen came into power. Remember? And
Oh, I
they
remember.
bought the whole
Yeah, I remember.
con. Marvel and DC fled. They were mad.
Yeah. I remember because I went to a restaurant I couldn't get in because it was all the CrossGen people had like every available table.
Oh, okay. All right. And I had been. I was 19 years old, so I was a younger man,
Wow.
and I didn't even know that like you paid for sketches. Like that wasn't even. And I remember going up to you and having that weird I think you were one of the first. And CrossGen was giving them for free, by the way. So this is where it really messed me up. CrossGen paid for everyone to get free sketches. So I got sketches from Philip Tan, and like I was like, everybody's giving me free.
Why not?
It's great. I go up to Phil and I was like, "Can I get a sketch?" And you're like, "Yeah, I charge." I don't remember what you said, but you're charging. I was like, I don't know how that works. And you're like, "Here, I'll buy you a little Green Arrow, kid."
Yeah.
Oh, that's Green Arrow. That makes sense. I was like, that's a weird Ant-Man.
So, I almost pulled it out because I didn't get the joke.
The worst thing, man.
But that was a cool con for me, and I got to meet everybody. Mike Manalio was there. He drew. I asked him. I have a Magneto sketchbook. I asked him to draw Magneto. He literally drew Hellboy and wrote Mag Who.
That's
wow,
amazing.
I can show you.
I love it. That's so punk. I love it. Like my Magneto sketchbook. Here's Hellboy.
Well, I didn't know at the time that that's what he did. He didn't draw. This is prior to him working for anybody else.
Sure.
He done Hellboy, and that's all he did. So,
yeah.
It was wild.
That's cool.
I'll try to find it as we talk.
I don't have a Phil sketch because I've never met Phil in real life because I don't go in where people are.
Well, when I posted on Facebook, he had to clarify that is not a Phil sketch.
It's a Phil remark.
I think Phil's frozen.
Oh, no. Phil is really suspicious about that sketch of yours.
Right.
So, Phil, why is Nightwing the best thing that you've done?
Dude, you don't even know the questions you're going to ask about Nightwing. I'm going to ask what happened.
That's why I did it, because I knew that you were going to be Nightwing guy.
You're trying to get me wound up.
Yeah. Phil, if you can hear us, we can't hear or your face isn't moving. I'm trying to think of a villain he's had that does freezing things. I'm sure during your prolific career, you've had a freezing villain at some point. Oh, there we go.
Which is basically, it's
yeah.
So this is going to be our night. We will get to talk to Phil every few sentences. Not been our first interview like this.
It hasn't.
Doug Wagner also lives in the 6.
I was literally going to say it's Doug Wagner. He switched to a phone and then kind of salvaged it a little bit. Right. What you got? See, you've got some local IPA thing going on.
Yeah, I'm known for my local IPA.
I know. Yeah, that's you, classic Travis.
Classic Travis and his local IPA.
Oh, here we go. I love it.
That's the problem is I have to reload the whole restream.
Go back all the way through.
Yeah, well, I feel bad. So at any point,
you're fine.
If you want to abort.
No, I love it. I like this. I like the unpredictability of it.
Just pretend I'm like camping somewhere exotic.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, if you had a green screen, it'd be great. And each time you show back up, the location changes.
Like a blizzard behind me.
Yeah, you're like our reporter on scene.
That was the main clue.
Oh, hey. That's cool. Yeah. That's a pretty bad Magneto.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
You should know though, every theme sketch book that happens. Like somebody forgets the assignment.
Right.
And totally ruin it.
Like, oh, this is what I've been sketching 1,000 times, and now it's just muscle memory.
Like it's a thing sketchbook, and then you'll hit a Scarlet Witch in the middle of it.
Right.
That's fun. I like that. I just have a regular sketchbook. It doesn't have much in it because I don't go and see people. I don't really know why I thought I would start that.
Well, I think for sketchbooks in today's age of flipping, like you need a sketchbook. You need to, like, when you bring it up to someone, go, look, I'm not going to just flip this. You're not going to see it on eBay tomorrow. I promise you.
Yeah,
right.
No, I've never sold anything that I even.
Well, here's my sketchbook advice.
Ooh.
If you get a sketchbook, number one, get good paper.
Yep.
Right?
I did that. I spent
two,
too much on it.
Yeah. Number two, go to like a super heavy hitter first. Go to like a Lee Weeks or an Adam Hughes. And then everyone who comes after them will level up.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
That is true.
Don't start with me.
That is a true statement. I do make sure I point out all the people who are big names in my book every time I hand it to somebody.
All right. If we're doing this, I'll start. This is what I got done first.
Oh,
This is the first page of mine. I had somebody do Hal's first appearance, but with Joe in it instead of Hal. And I think it's cool. I think it's a good start.
Yeah, that's a heck of a sketch.
Right? It's a local artist, but I love him dearly. And I was
tell me he got to keep it overnight or something.
Oh no, he had it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
Now, see,
I told him he has 45 minutes.
Yeah. The clock starts now.
Yeah.
So, Phil, we worked on a book together. You don't know. We worked on an issue of Negative Burn. Yes. We're both on an issue of Negative Burn together, which is cool. You did a lot of those. But where did
either of these?
It is not either of those.
Flash.
What was the first thing you worked on?
Oh boy, ever. Back when Fantagraphics did this thing called Amazing Heroes,
okay,
which was like the Comics Journal, but like middlebrow Comics Journal. It was like superheroes Comics Journal.
Yeah,
and they had a letter call in the back that they would run spot illustrations in. And when I was 18, I like sent in about a bunch of spot illustrations, and I actually got paid like $4.95. Like per spot illo, but I thought that was the coolest thing on earth.
That's awesome.
And then I was in college when the Turtles kind of blew up as a comic, and all of a sudden, like anyone with like a MasterCard that had like a $4,000 limit knew they could turn that $4,000 into $16,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because shops didn't want to be caught flat-footed on the next Turtles. So they ordered everything.
Yeah.
So like an average book, like just out of the gate would sell like 15, 20,000 copies. And you'd make your money back. And so all of a sudden there were a ton of little fly-by-night comic book companies that needed talent. I use talent loosely. And I was one of those loose talents. And so I started working for a little company called Silverwolf out of Sacramento. And I did a book there called Port, which is short for it's apostrophe PORT, short for teleport. And it was it was actually kind of, the concept was all right because it was about it was kind of a forerunner of Irredeemable Ant-Man. It was a kind of a anti-hero character who does the right thing sometimes, and he used his power to teleport to rob people.
Nice. That's what you should do.
Yes, but he kept getting drawn into like crazy adventures and becoming the good guy.
Yeah,
so
the anti-hero turns hero,
but it's very terrible. So you should not look for it.
I am gonna search far and wide for it.
You should not look for it. When they went out of business, I took payment in unsold stock.
Nice.
And I destroyed like 700 copies that time.
I will make it rarer.
Yes.
I love the idea of just buying a ton of it. Not for cons, not to sell it, to destroy it.
To keep it out of the world's grasp.
That's pretty great.
Do you remember your first Phil Hester book, Todd? What yours was?
So
it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. To be fair, what's interesting is I trade weight black labels, And because I have back here, I have every single Black Label in this trade bookcase I have back here. I have all of them in hardcover. I have all of the Black Label books. I don't buy the singles.
Mm-hmm.
So all the people at my shop are like, Gotham City's so good. Oh my goodness. You got to read it. I'm like, that's not fair. And I'm like a month away from getting to read it. So maybe it's next month, but no, my first favorite Hester was for sure Green Arrow, but I didn't know that at the time. I don't follow before Comic Burrito, my first podcast that happened during the pandemic. I never followed people. I followed books and the recommendations of my amazing comic book shop. They would always steer me in the right way. I never had to worry about where I was going because it would be whatever. Looking back, it was Green Arrow. I know that run, and I was like, I know that cover. Oh crap! Like I definitely loved that, and that's maybe there was something before that, but I'm pretty sure it was Green Arrow.
So I was a little bit before that. So we'll start where I start. So I started at Kevin Smith at the Clerks Lost Episode thing. I watched that and I loved it because I was a huge Clerk fan. I'm from New England, and Mallrats was my jam. And then I hunted down the Wretch. Your
cool
because I was like, what has this guy done? If Kevin Smith likes him, like. So I hunted down that because I was a huge Caliber guy.
Right.
My whole goal in life was to get into negative burn. I didn't realize that it was easy. Nobody told me until I actually tried.
Yeah, well, it is easy, but it's wild that you can like just have an idea and do like a 2 or 3 page book and be in the same book as Mobius.
Right. Right. I was just like Brian Michael Bendis and Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman. Like, I need to be, if I want to be successful in comics, I need to be in an issue of Negative Burn.
You kind of, I mean, it kind of was like, it kind of was Vertigo Jr. Right. It was like a launching place for a lot of people. And it was like, I'll admit, that was the appeal to me, that I'm going to be in a book with Neil Gaiman. I drew one of Alan Moore's, I adapted one of his songs for that. And so like, cool. Just rubbing shoulders with those people was to me the big appeal of Negative Burn. And also I love short stories. So it was fun to exercise like that. But that's where the Wretch started.
Yeah. So I hunted it down and got it from Caliber. And Caliber, I don't think people understand because nowadays, like I was actually talking to Pat Chan the other day who does a whole bunch of companies. And he was just like, I don't even know who Caliber is. And I was like, damn it.
Oh, that's wild.
It's like
they were really good for a short amount of time.
They were sort of like if they were a record label, they'd have been like the Sub Pop of their time. Like very high quality.
Ooh. You're talking that's the perfect metaphor for me. Right. That is
so Todd, I want to backtrack on something you said though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotham City Year One is not Black Label, it's continuity. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Isn't it
it's the Tom King verse, but it's not Black Label.
Isn't it big? What is
it's normal comic. It's extra long. They're 28 pages, but it's not a weird format.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I would have bet money that it was Black Label. Well, okay. Well, I guess I've been trade waiting it. I saw in previews a new.
It's still a cool trade, and it comes out.
Does it come in a hardcover?
Yeah, it's coming out as a hardcover on September 5th.
It is interesting because if I am interested in something and it comes out in a hardcover, I will almost always get the hardcover because if I had a fetish, it's a hardcover books.
Yeah. Well, it's got all sorts of cool stuff and it
cool. Vinyl records, hardcover books. That's where my joy center is.
And if anybody ever wants to see Slam Bradley again, you got to buy like 5 of them.
Perfect. Well, I work at a comic shop, so I will influence 5 purchases of them.
Yeah, just slide it into the pull.
Oh yeah, you definitely asked for that for sure. Awesome. Okay, well, it's in continuity, so which makes sense for a year one. So it's just telling the origins of because it's the premise is it's when Batman is starting out and Gotham PD is working with them?
No.
Am I all mixed up? That's perfectly fine. I don't know a lot of stuff until I read it.
It's a Slam Bradley, who's like one of DC's
oldest characters. Yeah.
It's a Slam Bradley detective story, and it's set during the time of Bruce Wayne's grandparents.
Cool.
Which is a hot seller right there.
Yeah, I like it.
But it is sort of why Gotham City got so messed up.
Neat. Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty much the fall of Gotham City and this sort of the seeds of Batman being planted.
Sweet. Well, the trade is on my polls, so I'll be getting it, and I'm excited, and that sounds really cool. I really have been curious what happened between Jonah Hex and Batman. So
there you go.
Perfect.
Well, and they put Tom King in charge, so they're like, this guy can get yelled at. He's used to it.
Yeah, he didn't care.
What? No. Tom King never gets flack. That's bananas.
Right. He can handle it. So that's the Wretch is your first. Is that your first original character?
Oh no. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I've been writing and drawing my own stories for a long time. Like you have Negative Burn up in there right now. Like I worked in Negative Burn for a long time, and I had characters come and go in that book. But probably the Wretch was my first.
18 appearances in Negative Burn, I would say.
I don't know. You'll have to tell me.
That's what Comic Vine said.
Okay, I'll believe it. But it was he was probably the Wretch was probably my first ongoing character that I owned. Yeah. I did another character called Bone Shaker and that ran in Negative Burn for a while. But that was
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a self-contained story. But yeah, the Wretch was probably my first like ongoing character.
Nice.
And he's came back several times throughout the years.
I keep dragging it back out because it's such a it's kind of a blank slate for storytelling. Like the character has no dialogue, the character has no backstory. The powers change from issue to issue, story to story. The only thing that remains constant is that he's in this weird little town in the Midwest where every possible strange thing that could happen happens. And he, shows up and he's, saves the day in some mysterious way. And hopefully the stories are also like touching in some way.
Nice. Cool.
One may hope. So going back to the Clerks thing, did Kevin Smith find you or did you find Kevin Smith?
He found me because I'm barely older than he is, but comics is like rock and roll. It's like your hero is only like 5 years older than you are.
Right.
And so like he knew me from Swamp Thing. So I had a run on Swamp Thing when I was in my mid-20s with Mark Miller and Grant Morrison. And
never heard of him.
Who?
They're okay. And he was a fan of that run. And so like he thought of, and to be fair, the editor of that Lost Scene book was Bob Schreck, he's sort of behind the scenes, like on every good comic you can remember. Mm-hmm. He worked at Dark Horse, he worked at Oni, he worked at DC, and he'd been kind of shepherding my career for a long time. And he knew that Kevin liked me from Swamp Thing, and so I think Kevin even bought a page for my Swamp Thing run.
Nice.
When he got some money, and so like
that Clerks money.
Yeah, he had that Clerks money, and he bought a Swamp Thing. Not for me. I don't know who he bought. I think he bought it from Kim DeMulder because Kim DeMulder's my anchor is an East Coast guy. So like so that's what brought him to mind when that Clerks job became available. And Shrek knew enough about my storytelling chops that I could handle like a very dialogue heavy script and make sure the characters were all blocked properly so the story is read properly. And he knew I understood timing and I could hit the comedic beats of Kevin's script. And so, yeah, that's where our partnership was born.
And then did you go from, what was the gap between projects with Kevin?
I don't know.
Was it like you were starting to go to the next one right after that?
Actually we were going to do a Mallrats book together. We were going to do Mallrats 2 as a comic. And that never, the only thing that survives from that is my I did a big 2-page spread of all the characters to sort of nail down the likenesses. And I don't know where that is now. I think somebody bought it. Anyway,
I was going to ask if that's something that still exists that's able to
somewhere.
be seen.
It might even be at the secret stash for all I know.
Nice. Yeah.
But there was that. There was an. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying just that pinup. I was like, the whole book's done? Hold on.
No, there was just the pinup. And then like something else happened. And Kevin did Daredevil. And then Shrek wooed him over to DC to do Green Arrow. But he saw Daredevil. He saw like the kind of schedule problems that Daredevil had. See, like you guys don't remember because like no one remembers when books like 20 years later, no one remembers.
No,
one remembers
that goes away.
Yeah, no one remembers how late Watchmen was. Yeah, they really don't. But like every year, it was super late. And Daredevil had that problem too. And Bob was like, "We are not going to have that problem. We're going to have like 8 issues in the can before we announce this." So we'd actually been working on it for a long time before number 1 came out. So the interval may seem longer to you guys, but to me, it wasn't very long.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's never happened to any Watchmen book since then, so that's worked out well.
Or any comic book, really.
No. It's really good that they nailed down the problem with breaks and delays.
Well, and would you say that is Green Arrow probably what you're more known for, or the Swamp Thing, or the Darkness? Which
it depends on how old somebody is.
Okay.
So, for real. For real, it does.
I love it. So you can guess my age since I said Green Arrow.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
All right, you're in that range.
Yeah. You're probably approaching 40. So like
I was very young when I got into comics, so I take that as a compliment.
So like but I think as far as like sales go, like that's the biggest selling thing I've ever been a part of. And like it also was like the first time I'd always been kind of a tweener. Like, you know, Negative Burn was the right place for me because I was a little bit alternative and a little bit superhero and never quite at home in both worlds completely.
Right.
And Green Arrow was like the first time like I was thrust into the DCU proper. Like I'd done a lot of Vertigo work, but I'd never done any DCU work outside of a few like Batman fill-ins here and there. And it was like to the protest of the higher ups at DC. Like Kevin really had to go to bat for me to get me this gig. And they had to sort of like, I didn't know this was happening, but like Shrek and Kevin were like,
wow.
No, what a time. Phil, if you can hear us, you just froze at
the best part.
I was so drawn in. That was like a movie-esque stop where I was just so sucked in, so invested on what they said.
You got a good 25 minutes before drop.
That's pretty good.
This was my favorite Phil Hester run. Like Kevin Smith, you know, was my man. So
yeah,
and I didn't give a shit about Green Arrow until this, and then I was like,
right?
Okay. And like Kevin Smith pointed out why I didn't give a shit, which is the best things, like the punching thing. Like he mocked all the things of why I didn't give a shit. It was like,
yep.
But you should because.
Yeah, I really would credit this Green Arrow for even coming close to keeping it relevant.
Right.
Like it was a joke title. Like Green Arrow was really silly and hadn't really brought itself into the modern era yet. And I think for good reason. It's just a dude with a bow and arrow.
Right.
In the DC universe.
Right.
There's not a lot going on there. Like, why does that guy have any clout whatsoever in the world of like Batmans and Supermans and Wonder Womans and Flashes and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah. You don't go, hey, we're having a problem in Gotham. Like you go, oh, we're having a problem at the sea. You don't grab. There is no problem where you're gonna go. We need Green Arrow.
Yeah, we need the guy with the bow and arrow. There he is. Man, That was such a dramatic exit.
I don't know where I dropped out.
You were like Kevin, and Kevin was going to bat with me at DC, and they said,
yeah.
And then it cut out so dramatically. Like, get the next issue. It was perfect timing.
I didn't know this, but they were sort of like auditioning for me. So they were like bringing like examples of my superhero work that they thought would sell me to the people in charge at DC.
Sure.
Who thought I was a good artist, but they didn't think I was right for like a relaunch of a, like he's a B-list character, but he's still a major character.
But it's a legacy character. It's still.
And so
he's teamed up with Hal Jordan. He's a big.
That's true. And so, and that sort of, they went to bat for me and they won them over. And they, I didn't have to try out for it, but once I started handing in pages, like the higher ups at DC were okay with it. And
they had their corporate breath of relief.
Yes. They were like, well, okay. And it was fine. And it was like DC's #1 book for a long time. And of course, mostly due to Kevin, but it was still.
Sir.
That Black
I would disagree, because I remember being sold it because I didn't know people. I wasn't a Kevin Smith guy at the time. I was sold by them opening the book and being like, look at this Green Arrow book. And I was like, well, okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. But I remember at the time, like I was drawing Green Arrow, which was like the #1 book, and my buddy from the Midwest, Doug Monkey, was drawing Justice League. And people don't remember this now, but like at the time we were like real outliers for like the house style at DC. And we were looking at each other like, can you believe this? We're like the #1 and 2 books at DC.
Because what year was this? It was
2001.
Okay. Yeah. That was early, and it was different, but that's what sold me on it.
Yeah.
Look at how different, because all I was pulling was Green Lantern and Batman at that point from DC. That was it.
So like at the same time, Bendis had me come do like a Marvel team up arc with him, like Spider-Man and Hulk. And it was like just Bendis's wish list of like either buddies or people that were too weird to work for Marvel. And so like at the same time, I was doing like DC's #1 book and Marvel's like #1 or 2 book at the same time for like a brief 2-month period.
That window. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, not many people can say that that's impressive.
Yeah. But then the world caught on and they were like,
sure,
we'll never let this happen again.
Stop that.
Well, I would argue to say that you gave Black Canary that ass. I don't think she had.
I know.
Ass. I think you can take credit for doing that fat ass.
It bothers me how many good girl artists, like quote unquote good girl artists, are just all about boobs.
Right.
I'm like
is comics. I've seen the Dynamite previews. That is what matters.
But like I always thought like superheroines should have athletic bodies.
Yeah.
Just like the superheroes do. They shouldn't just be like objects of the male gaze.
Yeah.
And so like I always strove to like make my women a little more blocky and muscular and still graceful, but like look like they could actually hurt somebody.
But like superheroes.
Yes, right.
Which, if we're going to talk about, Travis, I apologize. This is how I'm segueing to it. Okay. If we're going to talk about good butts in comics, we have to talk about Nightwing.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question.
I did draw Nightwing for a while.
Yeah, I have questions about Nightwing, because Nightwing is one of my favorite. I started so I was a Marvel guy, and I read Kevin Smith's Green Arrow, but the only book I would buy is Nightwing. It was like a protest. I was like, I'm only going to buy Nightwing because I think it's cooler than Batman, just to be a dick. So I have everything because of Nightwing.
So punk.
So the real question, Phil, is, did you kill Devin Grayson? Because we haven't seen it.
No.
Amazing. What a question.
No,
Where is she?
I'm pretty sure she's done work since then.
Okay, she has. I'm kidding.
But like, not to get heavy on you for a while, but like, this is a tough industry for women. It's do we swear on this show?
Yeah, we fucking
Where
do.
the fuck you
Okay.
want.
Like it's very shitty for women. For one thing, just like breaking in, you got to break in. Like at the time I broke in, I thought it was I didn't see any problem because all the editors and publishers looked like me. They're all white dudes, and like I didn't realize how like fraught that journey was for women and for people of color or people with disabilities or anything that weren't like me. Yep. And it can wear you out, you know, like the BS of this industry wears me out, and it's like designed to work for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so for people that have that extra layer of static, it's even tougher for them. So I don't blame anybody that like needs to just away.
Go.
Yeah. Like needs a break or needs to step away. But I thought she was super talented.
It was such a good run. And it's really sad. It's one of those things where it's like paving the way, because you look now and it's definitely so far from perfect, but you get things like Galaxy coming from DC. Like it's not just women going in, but trans representation is breaking through into the mainstream in the young adult section. Like we really are decades away from where we were before.
And for sure. And I
really
think
excellent, but oh boy, it's still
instead of me griping about it, I feel like I'm lucky to be here for it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's these are all like the kind of people you want to be around in real life. So why wouldn't you want to be around these people in your professional life too?
Yeah.
Just get different perspectives on things and like learn and grow as a person. So like, why that would piss you off is beyond me.
Right. And it's such a comic book thing. It feels like comics taught us that, but yet you don't see it in the industry. Like I feel like I'm extra tolerant and accepting. I'm well past tolerant and accepting because of comics.
Right.
And then when the industry doesn't match that, it's really disillusioning because like I learned from Superman that everyone matters. Yeah. And we're all great.
Yeah. What was X-Men about anyway?
Right? You know? Why did that get me through being a really out of the loop misfit teen yet? Yeah. Right?
So there's like, Michigan too, so the whole state's against him. Like
I know. Well, up until very recently, the state hated me.
Yeah. But there's I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't want to get too far into this.
No, you're good. That's the point of this. There's
like this incoherent rage against any like change, and you kind of flail around and look for an easy target, and whatever, like the people that have the least juice are the people you pick on, because when they hit back, it's not going to hurt as bad.
Right.
So like that holds no interest for me. It just seems it's just like a degrading exercise, like for me to behave like that, like not the other people. For like, what am I learning from that? What am I learning from kicking back against new things? I don't get it.
No, and I feel like it comes from this pie mentality where like there's only so much to be had. Right. Where we've only seen from recently, if you expand your horizons and really open up what comics can be, there's more to be had. It grows. There isn't a pie. Yeah. It's just a bigger pie now. Good job. Like now there's just more, and it can be wilder and cooler, and everybody can find something.
That's sort of what I tell like people breaking in now is like, it's easier than ever to get your work seen now because the web. It's harder now to get paid at the beginning of your career. Like when I started out, my very first gig had a page rate, you know?
Yeah.
But it's harder. There's less money floating around all over the place for a lot of different reasons. But so it's easier to get seen. Like it's easier to like find a path to success that doesn't involve Thor.
Yeah.
You know, you could like
Thor's real cool.
You go to a Comic-Con and there are people there that, like, if Meredith Grant showed up at that Comic-Con, she'd have a huge line.
Yep.
And the guy that's inking Ghost Rider would be like, "What's going on over there?"
You know? What's up with that?
They're like different worlds, right?
Yeah. But because it's a different crowd. Those aren't the people who would go over there.
Right. But what's cool
and that's
about
okay.
what's cool about that is it's all part of this one tapestry.
Yeah.
And because we're united by this format, maybe like if you're like me, like because I love comics and I started like reading X-Men, Daredevil, whatever, that brought me to Kate Beaton because she makes comics too.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Or it brought me
I have like 2 or 3 of them right up here. Kate Beaton's incredible.
Yeah, she's the funniest person in
Oh my god, it's so hilarious. Hark is just
it's the best.
Oh, I love it so much. I reread it so often.
Yeah. I collect original art, and so I have one of her Harks.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
So like I don't know where I was going with this, but
no, I love it.
What's cool is like it's like an ever expanding thing. It doesn't have to be like let's all be team Green Lantern and make Green Lantern work. There's just so many, like comics themselves are just blowing up all over the place, but the direct market's not ruling it like it used to, and it's probably throwing people for a loop.
Sure. There's so much good stuff.
Well, and I would argue, going back to Devin Grayson, because I want to make it clear, I love that run. It was great. It was. I can see why people hated it towards the end. Oh, hey, I think he's frozen.
Oh no! Well, you can explain.
I can explain it. He doesn't have to hear it. Right. I can defend Devin Grayson.
Yeah.
I think what people didn't like about it is towards the end of the run, it was a Daredevil run. It was like her fighting, but Nightwing is DC's Daredevil.
Yep.
He's the lesser Batman being Spider-Man. Daredevil is the
if you bring it down and you do the parallels,
right.
Yeah.
They have the same powers.
Did you say Batman is Spider-Man?
Batman and Spider-Man across, and then Spider-Man and Daredevil, and Batman and Nightwing,
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. In terms of hierarchy.
In hierarchy, right.
Because really, Batman is Daredevil.
Sure, yeah.
In terms of who they are and how they operate.
And what
in terms of like their level, their juice in the actual universe, yes. Yeah. Batman is Spider-Man. I don't know if I've ever heard that, but I love that. Batman is Spider-Man.
I mean, those are the ones you got to compare. If you're comparing
for sure,
apples to apples, Spider-Man or who has a better rogues gallery, and there's
that's tough
for both.
That's a tough one. I'd go Batman.
I would also go Batman, even though
but it would hurt.
Yeah, I love the Spider-Man villains way more than I love the DC villains, but I feel that they're far more interesting.
Yeah.
The
Batman rogues are just too diverse, and it's just, oh man, they did such a good job. We did on comic book posers debate.
Yep.
We got to choose. It was Batman versus Superman. Who's more iconic? And it was Batman versus Spider-Man or something. And they were like, no, I want to go Superman. And I was like, that was a bad choice because Spider-Man is the closest thing to as iconic as Batman can be, and he made it wrong. Hey, we're just We're just filling time. We're just stalling.
We ended Nightwing. Devin Grayson is the best Nightwing writer of all time, and we're good.
Okay.
I really like the current run a lot. Yeah, exactly. I'm obsessed with the current run of Nightwing.
No, the current run is great.
I have it in singles and hardcover because and then Son of Kal-El. Tom Taylor might be my favorite writer right now in capes in the big two.
I don't really relate to Chuck Dixon anymore like I used to, but I still love Chuck Dixon's early run.
He's a hell of a writer.
Nice. I love that.
He's a hell of a good writer.
I didn't see that coming.
I will never take that away from him.
So the tapestry is beautiful. Comics are amazing.
Yes.
You worked on Night. Yeah, and we're getting better, and that's what's important.
So what else we got to talk?
There's so much. I told Travis this. I've never made more graphics than I have had for any person in an interview like I have for you, Phil.
I'm very old.
I wouldn't say you're old. You're prolific at best, and I don't use that word very often. That is your Comic Vine list is absurd, and I couldn't make enough graphics for you. But where would you say where would you go next in your career from here?
I think that's right after Nightwing is when Kirkman kind of dragged me over to do Irredeemable Ant-Man at Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what we were doing, but we were talking. I've known Kirkman since he was a wee lad.
I was about to say wee lad. Oh, wee lad.
And he was like, what are you dicking around on Nightwing for? Come start a new book with me at Marvel. I'm like, okay.
The new book
and
is
so,
Ant-Man. Wait,
yeah. No, that was okay with me. I was like, he was like, we're gonna do a new thing. We're gonna do like the anti-decompression comic. We're gonna do like so much story in every issue. We need a 16 panel grid.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, okay.
You want me to draw a lot,
okay?
Yeah,
that seems like a lot of work.
And by the way, it coincides. That's when I had to get readers when I was working on Ant-Man.
For some reason, that just happened.
Yeah. But so that's what we did. We also kind of knew the atmosphere for comics at that time. Any book that got labeled fun was like dead on arrival. And we were so far, like if we had come out even 6 or 7 years later, we would have fit right in with Deadpool and Squirrel Girl and that sort of stuff. But the current environment was very like everything had to be like Sturm and Drang. And so even though Ant-Man can be dark, it can be very dark at times. It has this kind of like irreverent vibe to it. And that sort of, so Robert knew we were dead by issue 12. So he's like, we're going to put like 36 issues of story.
Oh, no. No, it's the shortest one yet. We're going to put 36 issues into 12 issues of comics.
It's such a great time to end 36 issues.
Yep. So I have to pee quite badly.
All right, go ahead.
You want to stall on your own?
I can stall. I can talk.
You're going to solo stall?
We'll solo. Well,
all right, this is what...
I don't know if I can bring him on. Let me see.
Oh.
I can.
Can you not?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. You brought back Ghost Phil, so you can do it. Okay.
Right. If I can bring back Ghost Phil, I can bring back real Phil.
I can bring back any Phil.
I can do it. So Irredeemable Ant-Man is a great book. If you guys haven't read it, it is a wild romp. And friggin' working with Kirkman is wild. So we're going to ask some of those questions to Phil when he gets back. He will be back in just a second, trying to get his internets back up, trying to get everything going and working. The positive is when he's live, everything is good. Where he's here for a bit and we're able to talk to things. I'm clicking through the back end, so I apologize for that. Looking at the Kickstarter, we have a Kickstarter going live. If you're not aware, Cthulhu Invades Neverland. We need about $7,000 left, so if you want to back it, we appreciate it. But Phil is going to be here in just a minute to talk about Irredeemable Ant-Man, which I think is one of his better books. That was the shortest one yet, Phil.
Maybe I'll just start texting you my answers and you can reenact them.
So we got you to the 36 issues.
So Kirkman knew we wouldn't, like, we were an endangered species to begin with, and so like we crammed a lot of life into that like 12 issue run, and a lot of the stuff we did wound up in the movie, and it was kind of cool. And like people like became grudging fans of Eric O'Grady, which was cool to me. And also the other thing is, this was yet another book where like Andy Parks and I were seen as a team,
right?
Which was like, it wasn't. That's not like people assume that now. That's a given now, but at the beginning of our careers, like we were both working at DC at the same time, but not together. Like they wouldn't let us work together. Like they didn't see us as a team. So Green Arrow, even though Andy and I had been collaborating for a full probably 10, 12 years before Green Arrow.
Right. And we lost Phil again for those at home. It is getting worse. We're going to hopefully get things going on. We'll text him in a minute if I have to. We'll try to figure out the answers and figure out what's going on. I'm hoping he comes right back. I'm sure it's very frustrating to him and to those who are watching. It's a wild night getting him taken care. I wonder if removing him helps. I don't think that would help. But yeah, he's it's a great launch. Great launch. Redeemable Ant-Man is probably the most known for book in the Marvel stuff that he's worked on. Besides,
oh no, has Phil already come and gone again?
Correct. Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, we had Phil. We got some more. We further of the story for Irredeemable Ant-Man and how great it was, and
I feel like we need to pick our next couple beats that we want to do, and then get into the questions
and kind of wrap it up. Okay. Yeah, we can.
And then see if we can just we could do like a 4-parter with the career, with how much Phil has done. We could have 4 episodes just going through the career. So
yeah, but it would take 6 weeks.
We're
going to do this for the next 6 weeks. We're actually just going to keep this going.
Oh no, he's already frozen. Do you think I should just text him and give him an out?
I think we'll try. Let's just do the questions next.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get to the questions. And if that doesn't work, we can get an out.
Okay. All right. We'll get it. Yeah, it's wild. We'll have to get Phil back to do a deep dive because let's show your graphics for people who are just waiting in the background.
Oh yeah.
Show some of these graphics.
So we've got a Boom, the Anchor, which is fantastic, by the way.
I actually haven't read that one.
It is really good. It's been a minute for me. What?
Early 2009 it says on that cover. So
it was early Boom. It was like early Boom days. Boom was just coming out. And I remember randomly grabbing it because look at the cover is really grabbing, especially if you think back on if you think back on comic books in 2009, this stood out.
Sure.
So we've got that. We've got he did a run on the digital Batman Beyond 2.0.
Okay.
We've got some Kevin Smith with him on Dynamite with the Bionic Man.
I'm not sure anybody read that, but
no, but it exists. We got the Black Terror. Oh, we have the Black Terror.
So Phil,
yes,
we have the Black Terror, and then Phil.
Our plan was, we're going to try to skip ahead to the questions because you keep going off, and then we'll try to get your back for the rest of your tour.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2 in the near future.
The scary thing is every time I get kicked off, it looks for Wi-Fi. And less and less of my neighbors' addresses are coming up.
Oh no! It's like a horror movie, but like
they're all getting killed off.
Yeah.
That's good.
The Wi-Fi killer is in your neighborhood.
Yes. All right, so we'll do a part 2 because I definitely got to ask a whole bunch of stuff. Oh man!
No. You haven't even talked fire breathers yet.
Yeah. I think we got to give them an out. We'll start back with fire breathers next time. We'll do a part 2. Get them on one more time.
Yeah, we'll
give them the out.
I think we should do. Let's just see if we can be like, what makes you stand out. Let's do the first one.
It's not lasting long enough, my friend. It's not.
We can do it. We
cannot. I don't think we can.
Just do it real quick as soon as he shows up.
We can't do it real quick. This is.
Like, I've heard that before, Travis, and And I can tell you that's not true.
You and I are both parents. This is how these things happen. Like you're like, I swear they're not.
We can do it.
We can do it real quick. Nobody's gonna hear. And then the minute one squeak of the bed, wow, the whole thing goes.
And the whole thing gets blown up.
Phil's internet's down. Like it's bad. But I think we should just let Phil say goodnight.
Yeah. All right.
And then we will get him back on because I want the full Phil experience. I'll let the full Phil Monty.
Yeah.
Will
the Phil Monty? You mean
the Phil Monty? I love how scary that's at, dude. That's a good comic book.
I know. I immediately, as soon as I'm like, that is legitimately a thing.
That should be Scream.
Yeah, that's a Scream script right there. Is Wi-Fi?
Right, so we're gonna let them say goodbye.
Yeah, it's getting worse.
The only Wi-Fi left was my neighbor's printer.
That's incredible. Have you tried from your? How is your phone signal?
Oh, that's even worse. I'm so in the.
It's even worse. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's how Wagner got around it when we talked to Doug Wagner. He went on his phone because his internet was terrible.
You know what? I might. You know what? If this
we could try it.
I could try it.
Yeah.
And also, if you ever felt like just pulling the plug and trying another day, I could do that too.
Well, we'll try that, and if it's terrible, that'll be Plan C.
We can do a part two. We'd like to do a part two. We have so many stuff.
Okay.
I definitely want to talk about Fire Breather because I know you pushed that book so hard, and I want to talk about what that's like,
Sure.
going through that, as indie creators, that's definitely stuff. So we'd love to talk about that. And we're still going to keep this one live because it's good, but let's try to go through our questions. You're sticking around for a bit. Let's try to go through our outro questions. Todd really wants to try, so we're going to
I think we can do it.
Right.
I have faith.
Just housekeeping. If it does collapse, do you want me to try on my phone?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right.
We'll or try your neighbor's printer.
Yeah, we'll see. Whichever.
Phil just printed me something that says Epson print scan.
Yeah, it was an Epson.
Oh, I'm your neighbor.
Twisted.
All right. So we'll get you back on to finish up your lustrous career. But our three questions are: one, what do you think, Phil, makes you stand out in the comic market?
I was too dumb or unable to change my style to fit any trend. So I never had I never really peaked and crashed. I was always kind of like, no one knew what to make of me ever. And that's a good way to sneak through a party,
Yeah. For sure. 100%. I've been there.
And so I'm that guy. At the end of the party, everybody knows me, but I never got in a fight with anybody at the party.
Yep. So, Mr. Consistent.
Yes. So I've and I've never chased a trend. For a lot of reasons. One, I can't. I don't draw well enough to do that. But I had this enough of a recognizable style that reader could figure out who I was, and I sort of wore people down. So I've been doing this for 35 years. So I'm in your collection whether you want me to be or not.
There is a Hester in there. You just might not know it, but it's there.
Right.
So in that vein, Consistent, just kind of head down, doing your thing and committed to it. What makes you keep going when the career becomes difficult? When oh no, he looked like he was deep in thought. But really, he's frozen. We'll see if the phone works. We got plan B.
The internet is great, Todd. I
love the internet.
I love how plans come together.
I know. It's wild. I didn't have this during the whole fucking pandemic.
Which I wonder if our internet was just better during the
pandemic. They were like, we got to, or they'll really notice it's shitty. We need to make it better.
They're going to go outside and give us all COVID.
Yeah, we got to turn it up. And now that we're back to being able to do stuff, they're like, dial it back down.
I mean, this for those, I apologize. That sounds conspiracy theory. America has one of the worst.
It's bottlenecked on purpose for sure. They could turn it up. Where I'm at, I have to pay more for more. That means they can give you more if they just choose.
Right.
Because you pay for it. If you pay for speed, I don't pay for a guy to come out and make my coax wider.
See, you're getting, this is deep cuts, right?
This one I can get behind because it's literal fact. They can give you higher speeds if they choose.
Remember Netflix was like, cut the cord?
Yeah.
How many cords did you cut? 0.
No.
You know what? You still did
it just switches to something different.
And try to unsubscribe to Netflix and sign back up. They are selling you as many.
Oh yeah, they're like, are you sure you only want 3 people to be able to watch?
Right.
Like, okay.
Right. So now you do that, and most of us.
And how do I watch sports?
Right. If you have someone over 40, you probably have cable too.
Yep. I like sports, so I have to have cable.
My phone is going even slower than.
All right.
So when it gets difficult, how do you manage when things get difficult?
You mean career? In my career?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can go personal if you want. I'm a mental health advocate, so I'd also be cool with. However, when things get difficult in general, how do you deal with it?
I'm from a long line of men who have worked themselves to death. And I almost did that. I had a big health scare about 5 years ago and had to sort of stop pulling all-nighters and stop abusing caffeine. Mm-hmm. And it was all very good for me.
Yeah.
And it also put a lot of stuff in perspective about, like so much of my identity is caught up in being a cartoonist, but that's not the most important part of my identity. That's like being a father and being a husband and being a son. And so,
that's nice.
I've been lucky that like all those other pieces of my life are all been very supportive of my career. So, my wife puts up with a lot. My parents have always thought, go ahead and chase this dumb dream. Yeah. And, so like anytime I have like a really down, like career moment, I remember that like I used to right out of college, I worked at a place where I used to go into the bathroom and turn the lights off and fight back tears because I was at a terrible day job.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like the worst month of my comics career is so much better than having a proper job.
Yeah.
And I try.
Oh, hey, we got the sentiment though before he cut out. I count that as answered. We got 2 questions, which is kind of perfect. Maybe if he comes back, we say goodnight. Yeah, and we've got 2 more for the next one.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Perfect.
We'll try to get him on probably October-ish,
October-ish. I like that you said ish for a month.
I'm actually trying to remember, who do we have next? I know we have this whole month.
I'm going to see if we can get about fall, winter-ish, somewhere in there.
Who do we have next, Todd? I know I have a schedule. Who do we have?
I've never been given this schedule, so I don't know.
You have.
I have not. What are you talking about? What? We don't have a shared calendar.
We fucking have a shared calendar. It's just in our Discord.
I like how much more your fucking New England comes out in these moments. Hey, a fucking calendar. Yeah.
You're a fucking missile instead of a bitch. I'll throw you in the house.
It's just like, oh, that's right. He's not from Florida.
All right. So
that's great.
Okay. And we have I can never say his name. Markenzian, by the horns.
Naso?
Yes. Naso. Marquezan.
Yeah, cool. Sweet.
So he's our next one.
The reschedule?
Right. The reschedule.
Sweet.
And then after that, we have scheduled Liana Kangas.
Sweet. So September-ish then?
Yeah. Well,
because that would get us into September-ish.
The negative is I've got some cons, so things may move around.
Well, I have cons too and pros, but you weigh them against.
I don't know if he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back.
Oh, you gotta have faith. He's got that Epson printer if all else fails. He's gonna draw something and scan it in.
Let's get it. So,
Yeah.
Dude, I will always remember the Phil Hester.
See? We got it. I had faith. He was losing faith. He was like, I think this is it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We got the message. No. The positive message. It ended on a good note.
I love it. And we've got 2 more questions for you, which we'll save for next time.
Okay. My last question I wanted to end with was the most important part of my comic book career was that I got to stay at home with my kids when they were little.
Yeah.
And so I got to be a dad in the daytime, and then I'd go to work at night. And it was not great for my health, but it was great for my soul to be.
Yeah. I got to have that same privilege where I got to be for my girl. I got to be home for the early days and all of that. And I'm back more in the world now, but she's also back in school. She's in school now. So it's being there, not for the day isn't as big of a deal, but it is wildly rewarding.
It's the best.
People don't understand. I feel so bad for people who can't take big chunks of time out and really be like there during those early years and everything, because I swear she is so much more like me and we get along so much better because like I was around, like,
right.
And it's wild. Like she'll send me videos now and I'm just like, oh, that's just like a little mini me. Like what a stupid little shit. I love her so much.
Just like Dad.
Yeah.
And I'll say that like I just had the bookend of that experience now because I'm at home. I got to provide hospice care for my mother-in-law in my home for like the very end of Gotham City was like the beginning of that caregiving ring.
Wow.
And so like 2023 has been the year I've drawn the least comics. Like I did Gotham City and then a couple of short stories. And like in between, I was just like taking care of her. And it was like very tough, like a very hard thing, but like also very rewarding. And I wouldn't change anything about that. And that's like one of the cool things about working for yourself and working in comics is that like it's tough on your schedule, but you do get to back out and do like the things that are important to you when you have to.
Yeah. That's huge. That's really,
and now
that's really amazing of you to do. And it's really awesome that you got to do that.
It was cool. It was cool. Now my Wi-Fi is going to run for like 7 hours.
Yeah, no, now it's
right, you're going to be online chatting, playing online games as we
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. That's the other secret of my career. I don't play any video game that you don't have to put a quarter in.
Nice.
Do you have big what is it called? I've recently got like a big arcade joystick thing.
Yeah.
And I got what are you called? It's a Launchbox. I've been playing the shit out of some Turtles arcade machine and X-Men arcade machine. I got to the end of both of them. Wow. And I was like, I've never seen these before because you can just keep hitting start and the quarters keep going in.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, the X-Men game ends really anticlimactically. I'm really glad I didn't know this. It's like, you win! And then the game starts over and you see the beginning screen and I'm like, oh.
That stinks.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I need...
No. We're going to get him one more time to say goodnight.
But we are not good at this, Todd.
I know we're not.
Okay, we need to...
I know. We go off the rails so quickly. We're going to focus...
Which I think is what makes our show good.
I know, but we're going to focus and it's going to be a good night.
Right. We're going to let him say good night.
Yeah.
I'm going to praise
Travis. No, we're talking about X-Men arcade cabinets.
I'm going to, right. He tells you he doesn't play games and you're like, but you do.
He said quarters. He said nothing that I don't put a quarter in.
Did you put a quarter in? You said you just hit the start button.
But it's the thing that you put a quarter in.
Got an arcade system.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, see, you can relate.
Dude, why does this have Wi-Fi so I can play other people?
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool. I'd be even more tempted to get one
Right,
if we could play like Turtles together.
Or anything, right? Why does it not have a Wi-Fi so someone else can play, and play over Wi-Fi? Like,
dude, we could play Golden Tee against each other.
Or even like you and I are like geek people, but like the people who love NBA jams or like
boom shakalaka
or golden Tee.
Yeah, that's why I said Golden Tee. Yeah, I play the shit out of some Golden Tee.
So
Time Crisis.
Golden Tree is that one that's always sitting at the back of a bar. And
Golden Tree.
And you're like, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Like Antonio Banderas.
Yes. Not yet.
Not yet. And then eventually you get drunk enough or you get mad at somebody at darts and take those away and play that instead.
Oh, I love darts too.
I do. I'm really, but I have a certain like alcohol level that I
you got to be a certain level of tipsy.
Right, to be able to
it's like bowling. That sweet spot.
So Phil has given up. He sent me an email.
He said that that's it.
He said, "Sorry, I will see you for part 2."
All right.
From us, we can make
perfect.
From him, it's probably extremely stressful.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds like a nightmare. I would have given up after like the second time.
Right.
I would have been done.
But since we're here and we got a little bit more time because we normally run, I'm going to tell you guys to back Cthulhu Invades Neverland. I know.
Yeah, do that.
We have
4 days.
We have 4 days left. We need 6,000 basically. So about 6,000.
Let's do it. Just under, just over.
We're at 2,380. So we need a little bit. So we need 6,200 basically.
There we go. Make it happen, Captains.
So, if you haven't backed it, please do. It's amazing. Phil Hester backed it. I will tell you that.
Phil Hester backed it. No, I back every Cthulhu-based thing that Phil Hester backs.
Fair enough. He also backs. Actually, you make a joke, but not that you haven't backed other things, but the things that you will always back. He also always backs Granite State Punk.
Hey, I also always back. I always back. Supernatural punk-based things that Phil Hester also backs.
All right. Let me reply to Phil and tell him to see him soon. But yeah, please back that. But Phil was an absolute joy, by the way. He is.
I love Phil.
That was great. I look forward to. We're going to talk about Fire Breather. We're going to talk about Guardians of the Globe. We fucking just moved.
Wonder Woman. We didn't really even get to Swamp Thing. He talked about doing Swamp Thing, but didn't really talk about it.
We didn't talk about fucking working with Kirkman.
Yep. Mythic Marvel team up. He glazed over it like it's not a thing. Marvel team up. That was a big deal.
Ryan Michael Bendis.
And then, guarding the Globe and Invincible Universe. He's dipped his toes. Green Hornet. He's been a part of. Family Tree. That's like, there's so much still, and he's got Creepshow coming out. I don't know when this is going to happen, but Creepshow Volume 2 is coming out. Y'all should check that out.
Is it just a cover, or is he doing interiors?
I don't know, but his name is credited to it, and I liked Volume 1, so check out Volume 2.
And based on what he just told us, in 2023, he's basically...
It's a slower time.
I would assume that he's probably doing a short inside of it, based on what he just a minute ago.
But either way...
We're going to have to find that. So stay tuned.
So much to talk about.
So much to talk about. We're going to make sure that we rock and roll, and that internet will be great.
Yeah. Well, he's about to get upgraded, so it's going to be great. His internet's about to be leveled up. Just like us. I'm Todd.
I'm Travis.
Bye.